Hey everybody, so this is going to be the toy review of the Dino-Riders Tyrannosaurus Rex. As you can see here, we have the ferocious beast, free of all its armor and brain box. Kind of this dull greenish color with a light gray underbelly. Kind of a shame that the prototype colors were not the actual colors of the toy. I know a lot of people were disappointed with the outcome just because, we were so used to seeing the whole green on top and orange-brown Rex. And so, I'm going to show you a little something kind of cool. And for those of you who have been on eBay a few times, or who are actively on eBay searching for good deals for Dino Rider toys, you'll probably remember there was a time when there were these repainted T-Rexes. That was me doing them, so that's kind of cool. And a lot of people responded to the repaint quite positively. Actually, I even had somebody from France who was asking me if I would do one for him. Unfortunately, shipping costs were a bit of an issue, but eventually he did get one, and he was so happy. And it was really nice to see that people are actually appreciating the work that I was putting in. Because let me tell you, repainting this guy, one, it cost a lot of money. Because I actually have an airbrush that I use for this, and two, it's a lot of work, honestly, but it's worth it because in the end, I just find it looks so much better. Unfortunately, the lighting in this room kind of casts a shadow on the Rex, but I think you can still get an idea of the drastic change in color there. So I obviously kept the green on top, but the bottom has this brownish color. This part looks a lot darker than it actually is. It's a bit lighter than that. But nonetheless, so I'm actually the one repainting those Rexes that you saw on eBay, guys. So for the remainder of the video review, I'll be using my Rex. The other one was kind of one that I just picked up in a lot. But this is the one that I actually put on display. So in terms of articulation, you obviously can move both arms up and down. The legs you obviously can't move because there's the electronics that that don't allow you to really do whatever you want with those. On the bottom of this, you can see he's got two large wheels, the bottom of each foot, which roll this way, but you cannot roll it the other way because there's a lock mechanism that actually allows it to walk properly. You got a third wheel on the back here. Alright, and you'll see a lot of the Rexes you'll find on eBay actually have the locking mechanism which is no longer functioning, or it's missing the rubber thread. For hardcore collectors, you should definitely ask the seller if the figure still walks straight, because what happens is if you no longer have that rubber thread, or if the locking mechanism no longer works, that's when you get a Rex that kind of spins on itself. And if you don't care about that, if you don't care about the electronics for display purposes, it's really not an issue. So I actually have batteries in this guy already, so I'm going to show you how he walks. The battery compartment is down here with the switch over here. The battery compartment, it takes a D battery, right, just to show you that it's the really large batteries there. Hold on. Okay, there you go. So it's a very large battery. I would say around 2.5 times the width of a AA. But you can just pick that up at the dollar store anyway, so not that expensive. So let me just give you an idea of how it walks. You see how the mouth opens and closes every like 2 steps it takes or something. Whoops, kind of got stuck on the wood here. So that's how it walks. Let me just bring him back. Show that again. Again, kind of the mouth opens and closes. Let's hope it doesn't get stuck on that thing again. There you go. So, just fantastic, man. Just fantastic. And, it's kind of funny because they didn't incorporate any sounds in these figures, but the motor itself is so loud, it kind of sounds like it's the Rex roaring and, just grunting. So I actually find that kind of cool. It actually works out quite well. But yeah, just a fantastic figure, guys. So you know what? Let me just turn this off quickly, and I'll come back with my Rex fully equipped and ready for battle. Okay, so here we go, guys. Here's our Rex fully equipped. I don't even know where to start. Okay, so obviously we got the brain box here with the two lasers that can actually pivot. Although on mine it's very stiff, so I'm not gonna do that. But really, you can kind of point up, down. Same thing for the other side. Here we got the robotic death grip claws, which again you can rotate up and down. But I'm not gonna do that just because it's also very stiff, which I actually like. I'd rather have stiff than too loose. Here, these arms can actually pivot up. Let me just zoom in on that. Look at the arms here, the robotic death grip claws. So this can rotate up and down, right? The whole arm itself. It's actually kind of connected through this kind of funky mechanism with the other arm. But you can move them independently of each other. But as you can see, there's like a hinge here, so you can actually move this like that, or move it in. You know, and again, over here we have another hinge, so you can move this out, move it in, but I prefer to keep it in because it doesn't really make sense to have them out like this. Unfortunately, they don't actually grasp anything, so they don't actually close like this. They just kind of stay like that, and they can kind of move in and out. So, as you can see, it moves in and out, up and down. The other arm is pretty much the same thing, and really the rule on manning this whole station is Cobras here, which you can take out. It's really just a little area where he can stand, and I usually give him a little cannon just so that he can defend himself from enemy attack. On the legs here we have the buzzsaw armors, and these things really spin. This particular one, the rubber bands, I never had the original ones, but even the ones I used to replace them disintegrated, and so this one is kind of loose. I'll just have to get another rubber band to replace that. But again, you know, this whole buzzsaw spins like that. Same thing for the other side. Just put that on loosely. Here here we got the Gatling gun seat turret, which is really funky. I hate that. Okay, let me just get up close. So really, you have this side shield here. Wish I could remove that so I can show you better what that looks like. But oh, there we go, perfect. So the whole, it's actually just like this. You see, it has this kind of like squarish platform here, and on that you fix the seat, and so the seat can pivot. You know, and this is what it looks like. It sits on it. Just the design is amazing. It just looks, it's such an amazing design, honestly. I love it. And then on top of that, you just put in basically the shield, as you had seen earlier on, just to cover it all up so that he doesn't get shot from the sides. And on top here, there's another piece of armor that can lift up and down so that you can take the figure out. And then you close it back up to allow for even more protection for this particular figure. This is not one of the figures that's included with the Rex. That's actually one of my other extras. And obviously on top here we have Krulos on the pivoting tower. So this whole thing pivots like that. You can do a whole 360. You can actually remove this whole bit. It just pegs into the purple harness. So just to show that to you, this is Krulos, right? And he clips on. You can actually, whoops, this is what it looks like, the pivoting command tower, and as you can see, his waist really just clips onto that. I'll show you that. So you see, you just clip it in, and there you go. He's ready to control his Rex. I gave him a pair of binoculars just because I thought it made sense to have him scouting ahead. Right there. So he's back into position, and the back here, whoops, and there we go, the buzzsaw leg armor just fell, but no worries. here we have laser cannons on top. You know, it's kind of strange because on the box it has the laser cannons up here, these smaller ones. Let me just remove this whole top piece. You can actually remove, revealing the engine. I don't know why there needs to be an engine, but I guess the generator for the lasers or whatnot. But let me just take this out. So you see how these are smaller laser cannons than these ones, and on the box itself it shows you that the cannons are positioned up here, but in the instructions they actually tell you to put them here. You see how there's a peg here? You see that peg? You can also place them there. I mean, you can do that. I find it doesn't look as interesting. I don't know, I just don't like it that much as much. And also the plastic here is a lot more flimsy, and so I'd rather put it on top where there's less chances of it breaking. So you know, personal preference, I keep them up here. But you can do whatever you want with that. And here we got these huge laser cannons that can kind of go up and down. Again, you really need to watch out because a lot of the toys you'll see on eBay, the peg that's over here that connects the gun to the harness are broken. You know, and that's actually the most common problem I've seen on the Rexes on eBay. And obviously, manning all of this, we got Bytor. He's just sitting there. Right, and he has this shield, this whole huge shield covering him. And when I put this back on, you just go ahead and do that without breaking anything. You see how this whole thing actually just closes, and so he just, oops, the cannons here are getting in the way. But you see how he's got this little window here that he can peer through. So if you look at this Rex from the back, it actually looks like this. See, he's got that little window, and then Bytor's head is right there. Really just fantastic design, if you ask me. I've never really seen anything quite like it. Let's just push that in a little further. So from the back, this is what your Rex looks like. Let me just replace this right here. Put that back on. There you have it. So from the back, that's what your Rex looks like. From the top, it's the tip of his tail. The other side really is the same thing. It's symmetrical. So, you know, exactly the same thing as on the left side. I mean, as on the right side that I showed already. Let's see. Let's just get that in the frame. So there you go. That's what your Rex looks like on the left side. Again, a little 360. Put that back on. And there you go. That's really what your T-Rex looks like. Fully equipped and ready for Dino Rider battle. Let me just turn this guy on and show you how he walks. Let's just do that. I'm just gonna maybe remove this piece since it's gonna keep falling off. But there you go. That's what he looks like. Fully equipped, ready for battle, and kind of trotting along. But just overall, such a great figure, and it's really no wonder that this guy is one of the most sought after Dino Rider toys, especially fully accessorized. As I was saying a little earlier, really not a cheap toy to get. If you're not a serious collector, you'll probably, you know, you'll look at the price and you'll kind of be like, what the hell? Like that's absolutely absurd. But for the rest of us who are actually crazy about this, really, this is a must-have in your collection. You cannot have a Dino Riders toy collection without the T-Rex. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully I can come out with some videos again sometime soon. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, such a gorgeous figure, honestly. Alright, anyway, take care, guys.